Hi, it's Kylie Koo. Welcome to my studio and welcome to week 6, I think it is, of hashtag junk use it or lose it. So before I get started on this week's project, let me give some shout outs to some other YouTubers who are doing some of these projects or projects similar to it, using up their junk in other words. So this week I want to give a shout out to Mr. Victor Crafter, Josie Gito, sorry if I've pronounced that wrong, Maggie Lockley, Nina Ribena, Crystal Dragonfly and Crafting Vicky, and I'll leave links below to their videos. Now if I've missed anyone, you know, if you've done a video and I've missed it, really sorry about that, but please leave a comment below and I'll be sure to give you a shout out next time. So this week I'm looking to do an altered tin. I've had this tin sitting around, I don't know, at least a year, maybe 2 years, who knows how long. It was a tin that some mints came in. I think it would be kind of similar to is it an Altoid tin? I don't know size wise, maybe ever so slightly bigger. But I've had this, as I say, for ages. I watched, a long time ago, a whole series of videos on how to alter these tins. So I watched too many to name particular individuals, but yeah, I'm just going to try and kind of wing it a bit. There's a bit of tape still sticking to that. So pretty plain on the inside. Piece of tissue. Yes, that will be used for something else. Now, if you didn't have a tin like this, and I have seen some people take off the lids to work on them, I'm not going to do that. As little effort as possible. If you don't have something like this, then if you had a gift box, you know, sometimes you get some jewellery in nice gift boxes. I tend to keep those with any jewellery in, but you know, something like that. Or I happened to pick this up at Hobbycraft here in the UK. It's one of these boxes that you can decoupage on, and when I saw it I thought, yeah, so that would be the type of thing you could use. Okay, the lid isn't hinged on it, but really that doesn't matter. And this is classed as business card, so I guess it's business card size. So the technique that I'm going to do today could equally be used for something like this. I probably won't do this one today. I'll do that maybe off camera and let you see it another time. So this is what I'm working with. I will need, or I'll be using, a ruler, a pencil, scissors and some glue of some description. So I'm going to use one of these rollers. I got another one after breaking the last two. This is a different type, slightly more expensive than the ones I've been using, and some glue and probably a brush to spread the glue. Optional would be a corner punch, but that is optional. You can just round the corners with scissors and cutting thing. Can't remember what it's called, but you know what I mean. Then for decoration, I'm going to use, I was going through my stash and I came across this Tim Holtz Ideology wallflower paper pad. I don't think I've used much of this at all, if any, so I'm just going to pull this one page out. So this will be 12 by 12 and I'm going to try and use this for the entire project. So that is to cover and to make a small journal for the inside. Beyond that, any embellishments that you have, whether you make them yourself or you have them in your stash. So let's get started. I'll just clear this out the way. Oh, and as always, have your beverage of choice on hand. Now, I did do some measuring beforehand, because I think, as I've said to you before, I need to measure several times before I do any cutting. So I wanted to check this out. So for the journal on the inside, what I've basically done is to look at the bottom, because it's slightly smaller than the top, and then I've looked at this piece that has all the information about the mints that was in here, and I've really just taken the sizes of that. So I've worked this out to be around 2 1/8 which is 54 millimetres, by 3.5, which is roughly 89 millimetres. So I'm going to make my little journal for the inside to those sizes, and obviously I will round the corners, so hopefully that will fit in. I've also measured the top and the bottom. Sorry, small interruption there. So I've also measured the size of the top and the bottom, and I've measured that at I think 2 3/16, which is around 55 millimetres, by 3 9/16, which is around 90 millimetres. And my idea is that I won't take it to the very edge, but you know, if there's a slight green showing here, I mean, the other way to do this would be to simply put it down and draw around it. And you know, I'm thinking I might just do that. That might be easier. Okay, I'll see as I go along. But the first thing I'm going to do is, I know the journal size to fit on in the inside, and I'm going to cut my 12 by 12 paper the length that I want it. So in other words, it's going to come down to about here, which is my 3.5 inches, and I'm going to do one strip. Then what I'm going to do is measure out 2 1/8 all the way along. So I'll get around 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'll get 5 pieces, and then I will fold. Now this piece of paper is double-sided, so it means that when I make the journal I will have the 2 sides that can show. So let me measure and cut the piece off here, and then I'll be back. And so a quick look, and that should show that that fits in there. And yes, it does seem quite a nice fit. Obviously the corners have still to be rounded. I'm hoping that the corner punch I have will be sufficient to put the round edge on it that I need. So now what I'm going to do is to measure my 2 1/8 inch or 54 millimetres all the way along, and I'll just mark that in pencil. Now I've marked these in quite a heavy pencil just so I can show you. So this little bit at the end, that's excess, so that will come off. Now basically what I'm going to do is to fold this so that it looks like a gosh, what's the name of it again? A concertina. What's the name of that journal again? Oh yes, an accordion journal. I always forget that name. I always want to call it concertina, I don't know why. So I will basically be folding, if you had a scoreboard, obviously you could use that would make that easier, but as I've said before, I don't have one. Now there's also 2 ways that this can be done. You can think about gluing your bottom piece in, but actually what you need to think about is, if you're not putting things on this beforehand, how would you then get some of the pages out? So that's something to think about. So basically all I'm going to do at this stage is to fold. So I'll fold that way, then that way, then that way. So hopefully that makes sense, and I'll let you see as I do it. So I'm now just going to trim off this piece of excess at the end, because otherwise that's going to confuse me. It sometimes does not take a lot to confuse me. And all I'm going to do is to take a bone folder or something like it, just to make my lines a little bit crisper. So I couldn't find my bone folder, of course, so I just used the back of my scissors, but you can see that that's sitting quite neatly now. And hopefully size-wise, this is looking like it might fit once I take the corners off. So all I'm going to use now is my corner cutter to take these off. Now I have to be careful with this, because I'll be honest, in the past this is my second one. I think the other one was a slightly smaller size, and they're great. I like to round the edges on things, but sometimes I get a little bit impatient and I try and put too many pages in at once. So the most I'm going to try at once here is 2. I may need to give it a bit of force, but it's certainly quite easy to damage the blades on these things, so we'll give it a try anyway. So I certainly wouldn't try to do any more than that doubled with this type of machine. It's just not strong enough really to do that. So there you see. That then starts to separate out each of those pages. Now you could actually make these pages individual and then attach them with either other pieces of paper or ribbon. You know, I saw one done where they actually left a bit of a gap in between there, and they had a lovely piece of ribbon, so you know, it folded like that. But you know, as I say, sometimes I'm very much for the easy option. But now the test is, will this actually fit into the tin? Did I get my measuring correct? Here we go. Drum roll. Yay! It does actually fit. Ooh, pleased about that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 4 pieces. Well, I don't know, does this need to be done? I want a piece in here. Certainly want a piece for the top, and I want a piece for the bottom. I quite like the shininess of that, so I'm not certain. I think I might cut 4 pieces and then we'll decide what I'm going to do. So this should give me 4 pieces quite nicely. So I'm just going to do the same routine, measure the overall length, and again this is just ever so slightly different this time. I might need to adjust it if I do decide to do this. This inside piece I'll make just a fraction bigger, I think. There again, maybe not. Again, it's just a difficulty of those corners, so I might make it just the same size as that. So yeah, I'll cut that, and then I'll cut individual pieces, and then I'll shape each one, and then I'll be back. So I've cut one. I've just realised this does not have 16ths on it, so I'm just gonna, yes, and by the time I round the corners, I think, would I be better drawing round it? I can adjust that for the inside. You know, I think I'm going to draw around this. I think I'll get a better fit. Sorry, change of plan there. Okay, so I've cut round these. This is the bottom, this is the top. So yes, I think that's going to fit quite nicely. If there's any overhang, I can easily cut that off once I've stuck it down. I think that's the easier way to do it. And this is the top. And again, I think that's going to give it a neater fit rather than trying to cut them and shape them the way I started. Okay, so bottom, top, put them to the side, and this piece that was for the inside, I'm just going to edge it and then see if that will fit. So I think that's going to be quite neat in there, and I think I will make a piece for the top one. It just needs to be slightly, well, not much. I don't mind if a little bit of silver shows around it, so I think I'm just going to make another one this size. So I'm now debating whether or not I want to cover the sides, and I was looking at it and thinking, well, actually that green's not bad. It's a kind of older type green, and that would go quite nice. And then I looked and I thought, nope, it's got the best before. That gives you an idea how long I've had it. That was best before October 2015, so yeah, I've had that well over 2 years, I guess. Yeah, so I need to cover this up. I'm less keen to try and do round the top of the lid, simply because it has this kind of ridge on it. And I think getting the paper to go around that might be quite difficult. So I think what I'm going to do is put some paper around here. I'm not going to put it right up to the edge, because the way the lid's designed, you can see on the inside, so it's got this bit that sticks out here, and on the inside it's got a groove, and that groove then clicks onto these. So really I'm just wanting to do the paper up to this kind of line here, and that is, oh gosh, it's almost exactly ½ an inch, which is about 1.2 centimetres. So I think I'm just going to cut a strip from this. I'm not sure that will go right round. Oh, I've got this longer piece here, so I'll cut a strip from this that is sufficient to go round, and it's just almost going to be exact. So I'll cut that and then I'll be back. Okay, so that piece of paper clearly isn't entirely square. Either that or my cutting machine's off, but it doesn't matter, it will be hidden. So all I need to think about now is which way I want to put them. Whether I want the printed side or that kind of side up. I'm trying to remember what each of these are. Those are the insides. That's the outside. But anyway, what I'm going to do meantime is to actually just put a little bit of distress ink around them. Okay, so now I have everything inked up, and what I'm now going to do is to start gluing everything down. And before I glue each piece in place, I will just make sure that I've got the right piece. I've decided that I'm going to use this double-sided tape. It's ultra sticky clear tape, so I'm going to use that rather than the roller. I do like the rollers, but I think this might be just a little bit easier. And I'm also going to use the glossy accents because I find that's quite a good glue. I did think about sanding this to give it a better surface, to give it a bit of tooth for the things to stick to, but I'm going to take a chance. I may regret it, but I'm going to take a chance. So I will start to stick everything down. I'm going to stick this piece first, then probably the inside and then the outside, and I'll leave the journal to last. Okay, so everything is now stuck down, and actually that's helped it stick really well, so I'm pleased with that. I did have a mini disaster a second ago. Got a cup of tea, decided to wipe my table, shook it, and I will now have tea stained bottom on this, but never mind. I've got a slight overhang here that I'm just going to cut away, and I'm going to be honest, there's a couple of things about the box that I'm not entirely happy with at this stage, but I shall show you once I've cut this. I will need to darken these edges again, but that's going to be easy enough to do. What I might do actually is take a piece of sandpaper and just sand those edges down. I'll do the same on the bottom, but I need to let that dry because currently it's wet with tea. So I'm liking the way it's going, but there's two things I'm probably not happy with. One is because this piece of paper ran off a bit, I've got an edge there, and the other thing I'm not so happy with is the green. Now I could take another strip of paper and put it around. As I said, the thing that was bothering me was this bit, but I mean, I guess I could fit it round. But what I'm thinking at the moment is to take some gold or bronze paint and actually go round it, but then bring the bronze or gold up onto here and round these edges, possibly even just around the edge here. So that's my plan at the moment. I think I'll give that a go. Okay, I've decided on the gold, and just before I've gone round the edges with this just to take off the excess, and I'm also just going to scuff up a little bit that edge, just so that hopefully the paint will adhere a bit easier. This is still wet. That's annoying, but never mind, it will dry out. But I'm now going to give the paint a go and just using this small brush, hopefully going round any dust off. Right, let's give this a try. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry a little while. This is already the second layer kind of going round the edge, and I think it's getting there. I've distressed every other edge with paint. I decided to kind of go that way just to make it distressed, to help it fit in. I wasn't sure to begin with if I was doing the right thing, but actually I think it's starting to come together now. So I'm going to put some, this could be left like this. Okay, another little interruption there. So yeah, so I've tried to just distress it with the gold paint. When I started I thought, oh no, I've done the wrong thing, but actually I think it's starting to come together, and maybe with one more coat around here. It's drying quite quickly. Now there's still some dampness, so I think what I'm going to do now is let this dry. I'm going to look out some embellishments to put on the top, just from my stash. I mean, if you had flowers, cardboard flowers or anything like that, that's obviously something you could do. I have a tendency to sometimes buy embellishments and then not use them, so I think for this I'm going to try and use some of those. So while this dries, might get another coat on it, look out the embellishments, and then I'll come back to do the kind of finishing touches. Okay, so I'm feeling like every time I look at this I see another bit that needs done, but I'm going to call it almost done. I want to put some embellishments on it, but you'll see that I have gone round it with the gold. There's still in places a little bit the green shining through, but I actually don't mind that too much because I think it just helps it have that kind of antique, worn, shabby chic type look. So I've also taken a bit of the Distress ink and just rubbed it over the gold a bit. But when I opened it I realised, of course, this bit's still showing green. So I have put the first coat round there, but I might put another. I need to be careful because it will actually start to potentially rub a bit and rub that off. So yeah, I then thought, should I be doing these bits on the inside and these, but I'm leaving them for now. I may change on in future, I'm just not sure, but all in all I'm quite happy with the way this is looking. So I've been into my stash, and of course one of the things I've been getting recently are the craft box. So within one of the craft box was these mulberry flowers. So I'm taking out 3 of these that I'm going to arrange on here. Just not entirely certain how as yet. And the other thing I've taken out of my stash are a couple of charms, and I've just put the charms onto a piece of garden twine. And I'm just going to stick these down like so. So I think these are quite nice colours. I think they go with the kind of gold. That looks too much in a straight line just now. I'll change it to here. Yeah, I think I prefer that. So I'm going to stick these down. I think again I'm just going to use some of this glossy accents because it's very good for sticking. And then I think that will just about be it. Okay, so I've just quickly cleaned off my craft mat. I'm going to give these a little while longer. Probably just need a little bit longer to make sure that they're fully stuck down. But overall, I'm really quite happy with the way this has turned out. It's the first time I've done it. As I said, I'd watched lots of these videos a long time ago, but just never got round to using this. But I was always reluctant to throw it out. So I'm quite happy that I've used a tin, I've used some papers that I had sitting around for ages, and I've also used some things that came out of the craft box and other bits and pieces that I'd bought previously but was never getting round to using. So yeah, I'm quite happy. So to open it, I'm just trying not to let these things fall off. As I say, there's bits and pieces I'd like to maybe do a bit more on, just in terms of going around the inside, but for now I'm okay with that as is. This is the little journal bit. Now, as I say, I've seen some people take this and stick that actually down in there, which is fine, but you know, if it's fully stuck down, how do you then maybe journal on this piece? So I think what I'm going to do is leave this loose meantime until I decide what I'm actually going to do with it. So, you know, I can actually lift it out and I could put photographs or little journal spots. I could add some more embellishments, and then of course you can turn it over and you've got the same on the other side. And that was the benefit of having the double-sided paper, though obviously you could stick two together to get that effect. So that's it. I hope you've liked this project. I'm delighted to have used this tin just so that I don't keep coming over it in my box of junk. So yeah, I think next time I do one I might improve it a bit, but for the first attempt I'm quite happy with that. So I hope you've liked it. If you did enjoy the video, then please give me the thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber, then please subscribe if you think you would find the content on my channel of interest to you. Thanks to everyone who kindly does like my videos and who leaves very kind comments. Those really make my day, and thanks also to those who are doing their own junk use it or lose it. So that's it for this week. See you again next week. Bye for now.